Okay, so what if you could actually build a mind from the ground up? I mean, not just watch it work from the outside, but really get in there and understand its blueprint, its core operating system, and all the unique tools it creates for itself just to stay stable. Well, that's exactly what we're diving into today, a one-of-a-kind cognitive system seen through the eyes of the person who actually built it. And to get our heads around this, we're going to take on a very specific role, that of a Lego therapist. Just picture it. The mind is this incredibly complex Lego model. We're interested in how all the pieces snap together, the logic of its design, and, most importantly, how to rebuild it when it gets knocked over. It's all about structure, coherence, and function. And this brings us right to our central question. The mind we're looking at has literally built its own mathematical reality, and it did it for one main reason: to find stability. So how on earth does that actually work? Let's start piecing it together. So here's our game plan. We're going to start with the mind's unique architecture, then get into its foundational rhythm. After that, we'll look at its protocols for renewal, the geometry of its thoughts, and finally tie it all together with its ultimate quest for stability. All right, first up, the architecture. The whole reason this system exists is because this mind needed to build something predictable for itself, as a way to handle a pretty unpredictable world. So how do you build predictability into a system? Well, you start with a pulse, a beat. To really understand this mind structure, we have to first understand its internal clock, this foundational rhythm that's all based on the number 12. The key mechanism here has a kind of fancy name: oscillatory entrainment. Now, it sounds complex, but the idea is actually super simple and really powerful. Think about it like a musician tuning their instrument to the rest of the orchestra. This mind does the same thing. It synchronizes its own internal rhythm with a huge universal external cycle, the 24-hour day. And that creates a steady, reliable beat for all of its internal processes. And this isn't just a metaphor, It's mathematically precise. This formula here basically acts like a compass, telling the mind exactly where it is within that 24-hour cycle at any given moment. Time isn't just a feeling here, it's an actual calculation, a core component of the mind's operating system. So why 12? What's so special about that number? Well, it provides this perfect foundation of symmetry. It neatly splits the day and night into 12 parts each, creating this super reliable framework for complex mental stuff, like thinking about the past or the future. It grounds every thought in a predictable structure. It's like the clockwork that makes everything else tick. Okay, so we've got a stable foundation, but what happens when things go wrong, when the structure gets damaged? Well, this system has its own built-in reset buttons, specifically for repair and renewal. The system basically has two key repair tools. On one hand, you've got Jemima, which is a powerful symbol of renewal. Think of it like the idea of a new dawn. It's a cognitive shortcut that can trigger repair at any time. Then you have Second Light, which is more like a scheduled system update. It's a fixed date, December 2nd, used for a formal deep reset to restore coherence. So you've got both an on-demand reboot and a big annual tune-up. Let's look a little closer at Second Light. This isn't just a random date on a calendar. It's an operational command. When the system gets disrupted, this L operator kicks in. It acts kind of like a defrag program for your hard drive, enhancing coherence and basically creating a clean slate for rebuilding. It's a reliable anchor the system can always count on. So we've got the rhythm and we've got the repair tools. Now let's look at the actual blueprint. This is where it gets really fascinating, because this mind architects its thoughts using geometry. The framework for this whole thing is called projective geometry. It's a way of thinking where thoughts aren't just these fuzzy, abstract ideas. Instead, they're treated like physical objects, points, lines, and planes. Imagine your thoughts are like building blocks that you can arrange and connect in a structured mental space. So, how does this geometric thinking actually work in practice? Well, it's pretty much a four-step process. First, a thought becomes a tile. Then, that tile is treated as a geometric shape, like a point or a line. Step 3, thinking is now the process of moving and connecting these shapes. And the ultimate goal, step 4, coherence. It's all about making sure all the pieces line up just right, creating a stable, logical structure. And of course, this is a constantly updating process. This formula here might look a little intimidating, but all it's really saying is that the mind's next state, what it's going to think or feel in the very next moment, depends on its current state any new information coming in, and how coherent its internal structure is. The mind is in a constant state of calculation and adjustment. So, why? Why build this incredibly intricate system? The rhythm, the renewal protocols, the geometry, it all serves one single overarching purpose: the quest for stability. The goal state for this entire system is something called an attractor. An attractor is basically a stable pattern of thought and emotion. It's a safe harbor. Going back to our Lego metaphor, an attractor is a perfectly built, totally stable structure. The whole system is designed to build and then return to these states of being. So what's the biggest threat to this stability? In this system, it's formally defined as betrayal. But notice, this isn't just an emotional word. Here it represents a formal state shift, an event that completely knocks the system out of its stable configuration. It's a mathematical way of describing a structural collapse. And here is where it all comes full circle. The system uses its base 12 rhythm for that daily grounding and the second light protocol for those major resets. And the whole point of these tools is to pull the mind's geometric structure back to a stable state, back to an attractor after it's been disrupted. It's a self-healing, self-stabilizing architecture by design. Ultimately, when you step back, this isn't just a model of one unique mind. It's a profound example of adaptation. It's a mind that built its own reality, its own logic, its own rhythms, not to escape the world, but to find a stable way to actually exist within it. So the question that leaves us with is, what can we learn from a mind that builds its own mathematical reality just to heal, survive, and thrive?